Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, one and all. How are we doing on this fine Monday? We have a pay-per-view to review. We have some discussions. Your boy had a banger of a tweet. I mean, for the record, I'm just going to show it now because it's getting even crazier. See if I can find it. Ha! He used my photo. Top man. What a guy. Yeah, it's the same photo. Before we get into tonight's festivities, peep that. Obviously I bookmarked it so I can come back to it, but even better if I just go back a little. Of course, Boss Man saw it and he reposted it and he liked it. Madness. I can't wait to review this match with everybody. Oh, 100%. 100% agree with that. Now, we have some new memes. How many have I got? Oh wait, I'm missing one. Oh, Reece, dafty. You've left one out. Can't believe I missed this one. Hold on. There we go. I like Indy Hartwell. I think she'll do quite well in TNA. Again, people are not going to like this because they'll think I'm taking a shot at the company, but it's not. WWE fumbled Indy Hartwell. They fumbled her. So, yes, I think so. And that's another tweet I put up last night, and she must have seen it because it's done quite well as well. But I wish her well. I think she's got the capability to do really well there. I don't know why she never got a bigger push. Why she never got more opportunity. She's better than vast majority of that ridiculous roster. So, I don't get it. I don't know why she never got enough opportunity. No surprise. They chose less talented idiots like Lyra Valkyria. But, oh well. You win some, you lose some. But of course, we have memes. We have appropriate context. So, Here's one. And then when it gets a bit too much, we got this one too. There's two more, but I'm going to save them for later. I disagree with the latter. The first half I agree with, the second half disagree. There's nothing else that you can realistically not put on this show. If you say the 6-woman tag should have been on this main card, then you're wrong. Now, I'm going to have to critique a lot of people tonight. And there's a lot of praising, which I'm happy for. But Jesus Christ. I'm going to sound like a broken record very shortly when I have to use this. Now these are two. Same look, different words. So there's one, and here's two. But I'm in review mode, so let's go. TNA, I beg, sack her. Sack her. I don't care if she's a tag team champion. Cut her contract, terminate it. Find an excuse. Get rid of her. You are wasting time, money on someone who is rubbish. Get rid. No. I won't have Ash by Elegance praise in this show, in this chat. Too many people are blind to her. Too many people fire smoke up her arse. She's not that good. I won't have her praisal in this chat, in this show. Ever. Not a chance. Her mediocre swanton bomb, her stupid face, her stupid voice, her stupid look, her crappy character, her stupid faction, her rip-off merchant of a bloody concierge butler announcer. I'm not having this. I'm not having it. I don't settle for mediocre wrestlers. Nah. Hello, Nippon. It was awful. Saying it's decent is being generous. I won't have that. Only 2 people cared for the entire match. Only 2 people treated it like it meant something. That was Danny Luna and Gigi Dolan. That Jakara Jackson, that Lash Legend, I told you all before, they're pathetic. I've told you once before how crap they are, and we had to see this. Cool. Every time I see her, mate, she makes me want to puke. That's how terrible I think. That's what I think of her. I think she's terrible. I have done that before. I'm not a fan. Okay. You guys know the rules. I don't review. She can't improve. She's been in the wrestling business for 10 years. She should already be capable by now. Think of that. There's no way that she can improve. Not unless you have a mind control device on people. It's not possible. It's not really unpopular, it is popular. It is his best one. If you think there was no bad matches, then I can't help you. Oh, of course they don't. They're mediocre. But she's also worked on the indies and she didn't do anything, so I don't think you can physically improve her. I don't think you can. I like Goldfinger. Goldfinger's my favourite Connery film. But Thunderball is his best performance. I am very intrigued to discuss this because I already told you what the best match on the show was going to be. I told you on Friday that the best match on the show is on the bottom corner of the thumbnail. Because I hate seeing people that have came into the business and done actively nothing to improve, and instead they just rely on their stupid looks and have made no effort to make anything worthwhile. She's fake as fuck. Oh, it's still Xenia. I know what you meant. It's Xenia. Yes, I will be. No debate about it. Thank God they didn't do a 20-year re-release of Attack of the Clones. I would have shot myself. I've already explained it. Then you need to go back and think about the original writing of the book, because they changed the film for that reason. What do you think of the Nemeth brothers? Easy question to answer. One's world class, the other doesn't belong in wrestling. One seriously is a world class wrestler, the other doesn't belong in this business. Speaking of doesn't belong in this business, no, Nick Nemeth does. Nick Nemeth does, but Ryan Nemeth doesn't deserve anything. No, it wasn't Goldeneye I'm talking about Goldfinger. Oh, there's a few indeed, mate. We're gonna answer and ask tonight, but we've got some fun along the way. I also want to show one other thing before we push on. It's not the Santana tweet, even though that's now up to 14,000 views. What I actually want to show there's another tweet I put up. Ah, yes. They changed it for the film. But in the film, he's still evil. I'm expecting a lot of people to get a little bit moody about what I'm about to show, but I stand by this. Twat, prick, clown, get rid of him. These four make a countdown show unbearable. Can't stand them. And what the hell is this moron doing getting opportunities like this? He's got nothing to do with TNA. And seeing his face makes me want to vomit. I can sell a German suplex better than her, and I shouldn't be taking anything. No, they're not from Hungary. They're Ohio. I'd love to know where you got Hungarian from. Suffocation. Do you not know that? If you're heavily doused in paint and you're continuously doused in it, the fumes can make you choke and you can suffocate. So she doesn't really die from the paint, she dies from asphyxiation. Yeah, you just glossed over what I've just explained though. Anyway, so Countdown to Rebellion had two matches. One of them was meh. That was the women's match. The other, the Open Challenge. It's good to see Shane Haste appear. Quality wrestler. Blah 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 blah. Elijah wins with his Tombstone Pile Driver. Lovely. Right. It's time for the first meme to come into play. Please show the love for Zodiac. Time for a rant. Something like that. Now, let's critique the worst parts of the Ultimate X before we praise the excitement, alright? Let's get the negatives out of the way. Number one, Moose is still champion. Time wise, my friend, all the time in the world, we've got you. As long as you're okay, that's all that matters. And I appreciate you reaching out as well, just so we can hear from you. Ooh. Where did I rank Masha Slamovich? This might shock you. In terms of all the current wrestlers in the world, I think she's the 5th best women's wrestler in the world, currently. I think she's the 5th best. See, It's not actually creative at all. It's actually quite lazy. It makes sense, but it's lazy. Now, first of all, they got the wrong man to win. This match should have been won by Leon Slater. Let's be real here. I play both Nippon, so it's actually on both sides. Technically we have, just not for a title. No, not really, that's because I predicted it. Thank you. Not particularly. How they done it though really makes him look weak. Now, you want me to explain Odd Job? You know what, I'll come back to it short. I'll come back to the very end. I'll start it. Let's make it perfectly clear. In terms of who was in this match, I'm going to be generous here. Moose was not the worst performing talent, but he was also the most effective. He was not the most effective, he was probably the most ineffective until the very end. But in terms of, not so much at the moment Nippon, but hopefully he never returns after his recent behaviour. When you look at this match, the champion has no advantage at all. Champion's advantage is null and void because you've got to retrieve the title. In a way he does. But you're also making a mockery out of the division by the way that he retains his championship. So, first of all, Leon Slater, Vikingo, Casey Navarro, top 3 performing talents in the match. And this might shock you. In order it goes Slater, Navarro, Vikingo. Casey Navarro, he has a little bit of Zima Ion in him, except he's not going to break someone's neck. Like, he gives me that kind of vibe as a champion, if he ever wins the belt someday. But he won't do a Zima Ion where he'll get reckless and hurt someone. I think he'll remain content, professional, and want to do better for himself. And this match reflects it. He was extremely impressive. Now, Moose, on the other hand, isn't the worst performing talent in this match. When you look at it, I'm going to have to say it's Matt Cardona or Skinny Akeem. I'm more inclined to say Cardona, because all he did was basically the same move. Punch, count time, punch, count time, punch, count time. Then that running jump face leg drop thing that he does. He was doing what people criticise women a lot for in WWE. Mostly women than the men. He was counting himself, which I haven't seen him do in a very long time. Like, even his last TNA run, when he was just doing a few matches with PCO, he wasn't counting. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, go back to, it's when they're at the turnbuckle No, if you're counting yourself, it's because you're trying to make sure you don't lose your time in your like for the next spot. So it's basically like it's an indirect way of pacing yourself, and no one likes to see it because it comes off as it comes across as like you're not prepared, or it comes across that you're not like you're basically just you're not prepared in general. And if you're clocking yourself, you're deliberately slowing yourself down. My circumstance, though, and the way that I'm coming across it is when he's doing it as the most experienced talent in this match, questions need to be asked here. Not now. Too old. Now, let's have a look at highlights of the match. Number one, the apron destroyer. Very, very nice. Yeah, but he is older now, so it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit. I'm not being hard on him. If you actually listen to what I said he wasn't the worst of. Okay. That should be now. I've actually plugged the. I've made some big changes. I put the router inside the Well, I've moved the internet dongle in now, so I hope that works. As to answer the question, I don't think I'm harsh on or hard on Moose at all. His promos are absolutely ridiculous, but when you actually look at what I was saying before my internet decided to become an absolute bitch, I said he wasn't the worst performing member of the match, and I stand by it. He wasn't. But he's also consistently not good. Like, every time I watch him, I want to see better, and I don't get it. So I feel like there's a level of pick and choose. Now, this finish made sense for him. It does. The finish in this match makes sense for him. But to an overall viewer, it's a bit like a slap in the face. Like, it could have been done a little bit differently. It's actually a callback to a Feast or Fired match from years ago. But my whole thing behind it is it. What doesn't help is the ending's actually, it is a botch. It wasn't supposed to go like that. Now, technically Leon Slater won the match, but they gave it to Moose. What was supposed to happen is he gets pulled down, and then Moose would have retrieved the title before Slater hits the ground. That is a botch. He's failed to do it. So what they've done instead is Slater falls, hits the mat, loses grip of the title, and then Moose just swoops in. Which really is disappointing because the entire match is enjoyable. Another thing as well that I have to really criticise, because it's painful to see, is I don't like that nobody tried to catch Leon Slater from his top dive. No one tries to catch him. And that does concern me a little. If you also look at the role, Judi Dench made more in her final film than she did anywhere else, but in terms of the overall contribution, we don't need to have Gary Oldman. We've already got the right actor in Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes is perfect for the role. For this match though, it wasn't the worst on the card. It was one of the most exciting. Like I'm saying, there are a few critiques that are normal, but what did everyone think of Ultimate X? What did everyone think though in general about Ultimate X? I don't know. I haven't looked into rumours or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, I would assume so. Long time ago. He needs to get kicked out the system. I'm not even sure if the next Bond will be good. They made a mistake not putting him over. Like, they really missed a trick. was gonna say, I don't think they should be making those in general. MGM remaking classic movies though, I'd rather not. I think if they just re-release them, I'd be okay with that. Instead of remaking them, just re-release them, but modern up the technology. That's what I would do. This show proved to me what I've been saying about TNA for a long time, that this system has to change, or the system has to disband. I don't. I like Mads Mikkelsen, but no thanks. I'm good without that, thank you. Okay. Now I really have to talk about the worst match on the show. This women's fatal four-way tag team title match, start to finish, disaster. And it makes matters worse. You can state your opinion, I just disagree with it all the same. Yeah, I thought so. For a 10-minute match, this was still clunky. I'm just glad the longest match of the night is the site is rightfully so the best match of the night. How you thought this match was fun is bizarre, because this match was a mess. Like, they all look like they don't give a shit. Look at that finish. That finish is horrible. Maggie Lee, horrible. Misses her time. Jakara Jackson, botching. She could have broke her neck. The fucking stupid clown. See, when I tell you these NXT morons aren't good enough, apart from the likes of Vakur and Julia and Roxanne Perez, I'm not speaking incorrectly. I'm speaking with facts. These two are a walking botch. They are on the same level as Jade Cargill when it comes to a botch. See this whole standing on your partner thing on their shoulders. It's not gonna work unless you've got good balance, if you've got a good core upper body strength, you can do this. Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, don't have it. And you can see it by the way she struggles to hold her. It was so bad. So bad. After watching the highlights of this match, I thought to myself, oh great, I always wear the sleeping tablet. Honestly, 4 or 5 isn't enough. Exactly, because they've got to learn the WWE way. Just let them fucking wrestle. They're still going to do the job in North America anyway. The only two in this match that cared was Danny Luna and Gigi Dolan. It says it all. It says it all. Genuinely disappointed. They made a horrible choice with who held the titles. Honestly, clowns, the lot of them. Genuine clowns. Up next, actually quite a decent match. Like I said, this was Moose's best match of the night. Because this is where he actually seems comfortable. The 6-man tag protects his faults, but lets him be a little bit more expressive. So notice the difference. The multi-man where he's working on his own, it doesn't work. He did not work in the world title match as well, back at Slammiversary, when he lost the title to Nemeth. This is another example. That's 2 high-profile matches that he's been in, and it doesn't fit him. Whereas you put him in a 1 fall to a finish 6-man tag, he's not at any risk. And this is what they are failing to see, but I see it quickly. Now, you put him in this environment, it lets him still do his spears, his power bombs, his crowd taunts that he likes to do. But it takes away him having to do less is more. I disagree on both. They're similar in terms of being in factions, but one's a world champion, the other's the main champion of the division that this company is built around. He shouldn't even be the champion anymore. He should have had that title taken off him 2 months ago. He should have had the title taken off him last night. I don't see a comparison because both of them don't do anything for me in terms of what you're building for. Quintessentially, neither matter as a comparison. Especially when the wrong person's holding both title belts. And this is my point when people come back to point scoring. There's no point even comparing the two of them. In terms of longevity as well, both factions are not sure what they want to be. In terms of overall accolades of what they've won, the system have had more titles in the period that group's been a group compared to the Death Riders. But essentially, we know that they have to change up the system because they've got talent in there that actually are making it less enjoyable. I think if you want to compare Moose to someone now in terms of what he's supposed to be, I think you have to compare Moose to Finn Balor. Sorry, Pin Balor. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he doesn't even seem to fit into his own faction now. Moose doesn't fit in with the system. They actually don't know who fits. But we can see that the de facto leaders don't fit. Other members actually seem to understand their role. But as champions anyway, you can certainly see better from other aspects. But yes, moving on. Speaking of, as I was saying, fun matches. Based on what? Because he does this. He doesn't look like it. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna guess Royshin? Is that how you pronounce it? Royshin? Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. I've been scrolling through your videos before I can see it. And I can see you're a wrestling fan. I am too. Can I ask who's your favourite wrestler of all time? I've got so many favourites, but if I had to say overall number one, yeah. Number one all time. Can only be one. Although number two is Kurt Angle. Has to be Bret Hart. Who's your favourite wrestler of all time? Royshin? They did go a little bit crazy for the DX style of attires for Ace Austin and the Rascals, but I did like how they blended well with Moose in this match. They blended better with him than the other two. Like, that's not a joke, by the way. Like, if you actually look at his best matches, and they're few and far between, but when he actually does want to work in a certain environment, certain style, his better matches are with people smaller than him. A lot smaller. And this one actually does fit really well for him. The trouble is he's in the wrong division. He's got the wrong belt. And by the time you put the right belt on him, you're then going to be wasting opportunity for someone else who makes more sense then. Why do I think Bret is the best? Because Bret understands everything about pro wrestling that pro wrestling is and should be. And he's the best worker I've ever seen. 97 Bret Hart in particular is incredible. 97 Bret Hart and 91-92 stand out. Roshin. Yes, I'm familiar with him. Welcome to the channel though, Roshin. Our 303rd subscriber, so you've just taken us above the Hulk Hogan weight, so I'm proud. We've eclipsed Hulk Hogan's weight. We're now moving on. If we make it to 305, then we'll tell Taker that his prime years are on our subscribers list. That's a bad joke. But yeah, I like the match. The only thing I didn't think actually helps is I don't think Sean Waltman actually makes it any exciting. I don't think Alicia Edwards makes this match exciting. I think they both take away from it, which is a bit of a shame, really, because Alicia Edwards isn't actually that bad. And Sean Waltman, he isn't awful, it's just... don't think we need him. I don't think we necessarily needed him here. But it was still nice, a nice moment. I like the gear tribute. His python's grew another 6 inches though, so we've got other ways to go there, brother. Yeah, well, there's a bit of an awkward thing as well. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. So if you haven't, I'm very, very sorry in advance. What, 385? It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before we get to Big Show's weight. I can see why you think it. I don't think she's awful. I think she could be a whole lot better. I say that truthfully. I think she could be a whole lot better. But she is someone I would replace from this group though. Like, I would instantly replace her. Oh yeah, 100%. He's the only member of this faction I would keep. I'm not even kidding. He's the only member of the faction I would keep. I would bin the rest. But yeah, be prepared for what I'm about to show you. This is not a drill. This is true. It's damn true. Or as he said in TNA, it's real. It's damn real. Oh dear. It's not a drill, guys. This whole cryptic tweet of the third man as well. I swear to God, if this is Vince McMahon, I'm gonna puke. Like, I physically will. That's Hogan, yeah. They did a video for this as well. I'm not even joking. Oh yeah, shout out to Owen Hart. On this day he beat The Rock to win the IC title that he would eventually lose at SummerSlam. Right, let's see if I can find it. Oh, see? Look. I used the meme. I used the meme for them. But I'm not kidding. Look.
What? Serious? Because you know who I am? What? You don't know why he's here. This is so badass.
If this is badass, then I don't know what is. To call this badass is absolutely delusional.
What we're about. We're back, monster. We are so back. Just so better than before. It is so good to see you again, my brother. Oh, it's been.
The only time I'll ever accept these two together is if he asks him about all the times he's lied.
Most, you are my favorite of all favorites. But you know, we ran so hard. We changed the world one time. But now, we're here to wake them up. We're here to slice and dice the world of wrestling. And you're not gonna know what hit you.
You know we've changed the world of professional wrestling.
You nearly killed my favourite company, you bastards. I agree with this, he should have. Because the guy was incredible.
Should we talk about his credentials? Should we talk about all of his championships? Should we talk about the world-class athletes that he has brought to the very top of this sport? Should we talk about that? No. Not yet. But do stay tuned, because when we do announce our third man, it's gonna rock your world.
Oh, he's a badass, too. He's a real badass.
We're back. We're better than ever. And you can't wait to see.
And we're coming to get you. I think they're all coming back to our side.
I know it. I can feel it. I can smell it. I can see it.
That, by the way, has 1.3 million views. Ugh. Puts shivers in my spine. Not today. This is not a Hogan show, but when you look at people he has buried, we can. There's actually a few other things that he was unfortunately going to get. This is something you guys are not going to like. So if I were you, I wouldn't listen now. Do you guys... Obviously you'll know this. In 1999, Bret Hart won the WCW World Title against you know who, right? At WCW Mayhem. Yes? No? Put in the chat if you remember this. I don't want to hear his name, just yes or no. Because I'm going to tell you something that should have happened. Well, it was actually going to happen. Okay, so Owen Hart, after the Blue Blazer gimmick was eventually cut from him, they were going to make him WWE champion to rival Bret Hart, and they were going to have Owen Hart go into 2000 as WWE champion regardless of how popular The Rock was. Now, you've all seen the original poster of Foley, Jericho, Triple H, The Rock, WrestleMania 2000. They had other ideas as well. They were going to also have Owen Hart in that match if he was alive. They were going to have him compete with Triple H for the #1 heel spot. The Blue Blazer was literally... It was tragic, but it was meant to be a test. To see if Owen could still... Weirdly, if Owen could still do it as a babyface. Which is delusional. Because Owen Hart's best work, as we all know, was as a heel. Top 5 heels of all time, in my opinion. Top 5. See, what actually happened, Zodiac, was an accident. It was an accident. These were all things that were going round rumours at the time though, so this is stuff that actually recently randomly appeared. But they were all rumours from the time. Vince wanted so much from Owen. He wanted more from Owen Hart against Steve Austin. He wanted to put them back together. The problem is, if you actually look after SummerSlam, after Survivor Series 1997, what never happened again inside a wrestling ring? Something very particular never happened after Survivor Series. That never happened again. Which is kind of a shame really, but understandable. Yep. That's one of them, Zodiac. Although to be fair, Rikishi used it. Rikishi used it now and again, the Samoan style version of that set out Tombstone Piledriver, but what never happened again is Steve Austin never wrestled Owen Hart again. They never wrestled again. Which is tragic, really. It's BS that people say Russo killed Owen. Not really. But he's also not entirely to blame. He's not entirely to blame, but he is culpable. I've always, even though they put it through as a test for Owen, which is stupid, Owen didn't need to go back to the Blue Blazer gimmick. That really was a horrible mistake. Yeah. But they honestly never wrestled again. Which is crazy. But they never did. But why am I saying that? Because when you look at this match, this is also about placement. Owen Hart had his placements. Apparently that was a request, Fernando. So Owen Hart could never realistically prove himself to Steve Austin again, which is a shame. He never got a chance to do it again. But they had plans to have him rival Bret Hart getting his world title push in WCW, which was 2 years too late. Honestly, there's times where I will do a WCW video about everything they did wrong with Bret Hart, and I'll be surprised if I ever get through a video like that without losing my temper. But yeah, this match is about placement, and also want to say big shout out to Ace Austin. He's going to sign a new contract with TNA. He deserves it. Like he deserves a new contract. So I can't wait to see what terms he's going to be on. I can't wait to see how long as well. But yeah, we didn't need it. Exactly. You know what I didn't know the other day, which is a real tragedy, when you talk about sad deaths in the business. Do you know that Eric Bischoff to this day still gets blamed for the death of Rick Rude? Wild. After the match, obviously, it ends with the UFO cutter. I love Ace Austin. He's incredible. Backstage, we have Steve Macklin sitting quietly. Obviously, if you look at, as we say, when we think of CM Punk or Ryan Nemeth, we think of this meme. That segment where Eric Young spikes his drink. He plants it, then he burns his notepad with all his memories and his words. Prior to the match, he gets interviewed by Gia Miller. He says nothing. This is great by Steve Macklin. This is really, really good. The first ever international champion. He's coming in. Records are on his side anyway. Any new title introduced to TNA, the new champion has never failed to defend it first time. So it's already in his favour. The Northern Armory make their way out first. Then Macklin comes out. He takes them both out. The good hands. He knocks them both out. Again, they're who should be in the... There's the tag team that should be in the system. And so should Eric Young. Eric Young, Eddie Edwards, the good hands should be the system. But yes, so... Fast-paced, heavy-hitting match between the two. Interference cleverly done. Macklin would then get both men ejected from ringside. Beautiful pile driver attempt by Eric Young gets countered into a roll-up. Macklin retains. And then on the thumbnail, as we know, which again is perfect, Eric Young takes his chain that he carries, wraps it round his neck, and strangles him across the rope. Now, there's times where I don't particularly like this sort of thing, but they're not finished with this feud, so I like that they're teasing it. I think they're teasing a chain match for the title. If so, then I'm all in. I would really like to see a chain match for a title match. I haven't seen a chain match for a title in a long time. Yeah, I mean, he's been around for a long time. I've actually met him. He's a really nice man as well. Like, he's a really nice guy. He hates the WWE Hall of Fame. He proper hates it. But he's a nice guy. But I think he is in that mentor role for the Good Hands, and he's helping Macklin establish his title run. I like what I see, but I do agree. I don't think there's much more you can do with him, but he is a legend of TNA, so it's hard to do what you can basically do with him. I think he will get a relatively long run though, Fernando. I don't think he'll be transitional because he's the first champion. I think he'll get a good run. I think they need to... The way that this match concluded, they need to just go, we're going to end the feud with a chain match. Steve Macklin's going to win, and that'll be it. I also like the way that he took the running, like the cross, caught in the crosshairs running move that he does. He bleeds. Like, obviously he bleeds from that, but it's the speed that he runs at. It's crazy. I'm saying this comfortably. Oh, nice. The last time I saw a chain match was just as a chain, not like any other. It's just a chain match. The last chain match I saw was Taker versus Brock Lesnar. No Mercy 2003. And then before that, Kane versus Triple H at Judgment Day. But WCW did chain matches really good. I've watched that match. I like it. Yeah, Kane versus Triple H Judgment Day was Intercontinental title was actually a good chain match. But the the one from 03, Lesnar versus Taker, is actually quite good. The only thing that lets it down is Vince, but it's still really brutal and it's 30 minutes. Full on violent. To be fair, it was when WWE was good. That's the crazy thing. Yeah, biker chain match. It's basically just a chain match, but it's biker chain. The only thing that's different is it's taken off a bike. But it's still a chain match, the same rules. Really good. I like it. What did I say on the TNA preview and the Rebellion preview and the TNA Impact review show from Thursday that we did on Friday? What did I say specifically about Santana and Mustafa Ali? I said two things in particular. Zodiac, I don't think you'll be able to answer because you've not been around. You've had other things, so you're excluded from failing the test. But I said two things in particular about them. And no surprise, they proved me right. If nobody can remember, don't worry, I'll remind you what I said. Because I can't wait to rave about this. So what I said was that this is the best feud that TNA has done, in my opinion, in well over a year. Well over. Best feud. Hands down. And it should be for the World Championship now. So that's part one. Part two, I said this would be the match of the night. I was half right. I should have added something else to this. And I'm actually going to put up as a banner right now. And when I look at all the top talent, there's something else that I should have said. Potentially. Now, I said Eric Young versus Macklin would be a sleeper match. Potentially the match of the night. Now, there's a scary botch by Santana, but but that was the only one. Luckily, no one got hurt. I should have said this. Because as of now, it is. This match went 20 minutes. Well, just under 20 minutes, sorry. 19 minutes, 45 seconds, I believe it went. This is the TNA Match of the Year 2025. Now, I should have said on the preview, this is potentially Match of the Year. But I didn't want to get ahead of myself. Then I watched it. And then I watched it again. I've watched this match 3 times. And I'm confident. This is the TNA Match of the Year for 2025. And it's only April. The only way this match gets topped is if you make this a world title match and you give these guys an extra 10 minutes. Because I don't think you're going to get... I don't think you're going to get a match of the year from anyone else. That's no disrespect to Slater, who's had some great matches. That's no disrespect to Kazarian, who's had some good matches. No disrespect to Joe Hendry. Josh Alexander had the TNA match of the year for me last year with Nick Nemeth, the Iron Man match. Nick Nemeth has had some good matches already in 2025. Mustafa Ali, good matches. He's now just had match of the year with Santana. Those two, in my opinion, should be the next and further after that world champions. And I'm not kidding. Joe Hendry's contract is expiring at the end of the year. Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana should be a world championship feud. It's the only feud that works for a world title. Before the likes of Ace Austin and potentially Chris Bay, when they return, get to compete for it. And I'm going to say this right now. This feud, this match, is better than Moxley versus Cope, which could have been better. Because I was hyped for that as well. I'm only basing it on the feuds I was hyped for. It could have been better than that. And the way they were wanting to make it work, but it didn't work. This is better than Cena versus Rhodes. This is better than what should have happened but didn't happen. This would have been better than Styles versus Breaker. And I am a big fan of Styles and Braun Breaker. Now that might come across as bias because of TNA, but it's not. Because if you actually look at what I've named. When you look at what I've named, I've went for the best, or supposed to be the best feuds from that particular organisation. And they've actually went around it in the right way. Who should get the TNA Championship first, Ali or Santana? Mustafa Ali. Ali should win the title. And then Santana should declare that he wants the gold now even more, and he wants to take it from Mustafa Ali. The feud's not over. I personally think the first feud, because you can circle back in the best way, Mustafa Ali should still win the feud, but then Santana wins the culmination. And honestly, when I watch this match, here's a crazy thing, and this is not to AEW fans, because they get a level of violence that's insane. This is to WWE specifically. And this is where I've got a weird question to ask. Oh, same Fernando, so can I. But it's supposed to be their best feud, or the one that you've got to build the most hype to, and they didn't do it. You could say that Punk versus Roman versus Rollins had more to it, even though that match lacked something. And that feud lacked a little bit. But there's a question that I need to ask, and this is where it's actually really funny. WWE are partnered with TNA, but which company does violence better? And which company does gimmick matches better that involves violence? Yes. Yes, it is now. That's not my benchmark for feuds though, because that has a different echelon to it. If you want to compare, you don't do it as tag partners, you do it as one steps above the mark. That's a great feud, but it's not the feud that you should be comparing it to. There's a low-key different one. And that's not a hint to me saying a low-key feud. Like, low-key had great feuds, but it's not him. There's actually a far more interesting feud that actually stands out for me, that I would say Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali should be looking at. And it really does make sense. You had Mustafa Ali run at speed, face first into the steel steps, chair shots, barbed wire, baseball bats. That scrape of the face was cool. Like, just look at the image. That's why I chose it specifically over the suplex. Look, I had the suplex picture ready to go in the thumbnail, but I chose this. Yeah. I agree. AEW fumbled Santana. I agree. And WWE fumbled Mustafa Ali. That's the weird thing. Both of them have proven why they should be world champions. Both of them have proven why they can carry feuds. Both of them have proven why they should be in that conversation to be the top. Just remember what I said last year. People said Takeshita was their wrestler of the year last year. And you know what? I struggled to argue it. But my wrestler of the year last year was Mustafa Ali. Then Takeshita. I hated this feud. This feud was meaningless. The feud I'm talking about. The feud I'm talking about is, in terms of mixture of violence and solid work, that really stood out. And I really enjoyed it. Because it's a combination of styles that fits each other. And you can see they enjoy themselves even more. This match gave me excellent vibes of two TNA talents that made me fall in love with the company even more. So there's a hint. The feud (2009). Now, the feud in particular I'm comparing it to, one of them is not a high flyer, but they're just as clever as Ali. Santana's intensity matches the intensity of someone else that I've compared it to. Yes, I know I don't particularly care, because they're going to have Roxanne Perez job tour. I actually think this is a weird decision. But good to see you, Miro Miro. Not Kurt versus Jeff. No. You got one half right. You got one half wrong. But this match was the consistent level of perfection. Serious perfection. It's one of the best TNA matches in a long, long time. And I'm so glad. And I want more. I can't wait for them to run it again. And I can't wait for them both to win the world title. I'm just getting something up as well on the other screen, and it wants to. I don't think they're wasting Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz right now is exactly where she needs to be. It won't be long before Tasha Steelz holds the title again. Like, she's in that to get herself back in the... Like, she's trying to get herself back in that comfortable spot. So it does work. She's in a good role. Yeah, that's the one. Kurt Angle versus Desmond Wolfe. I'm just quickly updating the prediction spreadsheet because I need to confirm who won very soon. I can confirm that there is a winner. I don't think essentially that TNA fumbled Nigel. I think the problem is TNA made TNA just made a stupid mistake. Like the mistake that they shouldn't have put him in the Fortune group. Like, because he was overshadowed anyway at that point. I mean, that faction was correct. The Beer Money, the best tag team in the company besides Motorcycle Machine Guns. AJ was undoubtedly the best wrestler in the company at the time besides Kurt Angle. And Frankie Kazarian, incredibly underrated. And he fit really well. Desmond should have just been on his own. After that lockdown match, that was it. It's a shame really because I liked what he was doing anyway. The stuff was fantastic to watch. I can see why you would say perhaps he fumbled. His feud with Kurt though was amazing. The match they had inside the cage was 100% in my top 3 TNA matches of 2009. No debate. When I look at 09 matches, in my top 3, that match is in it. Where you got to have a pinfall, escape the cage, and win by submission. Undeniably incredible. And TNA in 2009 was still strong. They had some really good matches in 09. Their best years obviously are slightly before that, but 09 was one of their best years for story. But in terms of matches, 05, 08, incredible. 09 was a mixture of good stories and good matches. 05 to 09, sorry, actually I can't even count 04 because 04 is underrated. 04 to 08 is both good matches and good stories, but the better stuff in terms of how they're getting somewhere is 09. It just doesn't help that they bring in Hogan and Bischoff, which hampers it. Which really hampers it. Because in 2010, the entirety, TNA only has TNA only has 5 good matches in 2010. Or, sorry, I stand by that. TNA has 5 great matches in 2010. 2 matches are, I would consider, match of the year company contenders. And then the rest was just hit and miss. I'm not kidding. After this amazing Falls Count Anywhere match, we get Gia Miller, who's at ringside. She's talking, as we've already mentioned in the show already, she's talking to Indy Hartwell, who has crossed the line. She's a new knockout. Very fitting, because up next is the Knockouts title match, where everybody got this match wrong. We all predicted Tessa to win because it seemed obvious. But of course that's not what happened. It's okay, but I don't think it is. I think TNA's most underrated year is 2012. I would say 2012 is TNA's most underrated year. Because 2013 was horrible. 2014 was, apart from AJ returning to become world champion, that was a horrible year. 2015 is a settlement. I would say 2012 is the most underrated year. "2017 was not so bad, but at times it's hard to really say this is great, this is not. Even as a TNA fan, there's times where you have to really be truthful, and I am. Masha Slamovich versus Tessa Blanchard could have been over in the first 30 seconds if they chose it. Masha Slamovich hits the snowplow in, like, within 3 moves. Run and dive, standing assault, and then boom, storms snowplow in the middle of the ring, but Blanchard kicks out. Both women are going at it for about 15 minutes. Good TV timing in terms of what they're given. It's an allocation. That's a good TV time main event, roughly. But of course, this is not a TV time remaining. This is a pay-per-view. They are working a good pace. Tessa's actually given Masha a big run for her money. I did tweet this out before this match started. I said this is going to be very close, and I was not wrong. Back-to-back shows, Impact and Rebellion, Tessa Blanchard has felt the wrath of the armbar, and I like the way the camera focused on both of them. The intensity in Masha's eyes, the fear in Tessa's eyes. Contrast. Really, really well done. I was quite surprised though that they did do it, but I'm actually kind of glad, because now we're going to see. This is the thing that really does matter. Whether you like Tessa or dislike Tessa, or you just don't care. When you look at it now, if they put the belt on her, straight away, realistically a mistake, because we don't know what her intentions are. If she intends to stay, and she does get a rematch, it's fine to belt her then. But if you belt her on the first instance, and she doesn't want to stick around, you've wasted Masha. So the TNA bookers did this really well. 2012 is underrated because of what they also have to deal with as well. There's a lot of questions in 2012. That's why 2012 is underrated. Even though it's a great year, it's still underrated for that part. 2011 ends really well. Like Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy feud is the best TNA feud of 2011. Considering 2012's best feud is Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Roode. Or even Kurt versus Jeff Hardy in 2012. Bobby versus James Storm's up there as well, but it's crazy what 2012 had, but you still had to put up with a lot. This is still in the debate year of who's actually making certain decisions. That's why it makes 2012 underrated. Banner's back. Sorry, the meme's back.
Oh, God.
TNA. Now, we spoke about him earlier on. Ryan Nemeth is not world class in terms of being a wrestler. Promo, selling, the body of work, the look, the lot. Ryan Nemeth doesn't even hit good standard. He's just there. He's lucky that he's got an incredible brother. You want to have a cheap heat finish. You don't do it at the Hardys' expense when their title run's actually been incredible. Alright, Jokey, yes, I did watch the fight. It was exactly what I said it was. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be, actually. Now, if you're going to have a cheap heat finish with the Nemeths, you don't do it against the Hardys. It's stupid. You do it against another tag team. But, for the most part, the best part of this entire match is the link up between Jeff Hardy and Nick Nemeth. You can see why those two will always be the best two of their respective tag teams, their respective siblings. And it's not even close. Now, Matt Hardy's not a bad wrestler. It's just that Jeff can somehow still be able to go better than ever. Whereas Nick Nemeth is just fundamentally, he's a top 5 wrestler. Current top 5. If not top 6, depending on what you rank. That's how good he is. Now, it was a stupid finish. It does take away from the match a little bit. But this match was actually really good. Really good. And the ending as well, I like the fact that the Danger Zone just took Hardy out. Hardy looked like he'd been killed. He sold it really, really well. Jeff Hardy is just as good a seller as Nick Nemeth, by the way. And Nick Nemeth is one of the best sellers in the world. The Dirty Heels were boring. EC3 versus Spud, that was embarrassing. The Wolves were decent, but their best work wasn't until the Hardys got involved. The World Title Series was okay. it still could have been a whole lot better. Kurt's best work in 2015 was against Eric Young, Bobby Roode, and Bobby Lashley. That's it. Nemeth's win didn't surprise me. Finish wasn't that great, but overall, decent tag title match. It was. I agree. It's a weak finish. And it does take away from the match, annoyingly, because when you look at it, you see who really fits and who doesn't. You really do. If it's going to be a short run, which is likely, then fair. If it's not going to be a short run, then the Nemeths are like Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair when it comes to tag team wrestling. When you figure that out, you'll know how to respond. Yeah, Jeff especially. Matt worked really well last night, but how much more does he have left in the tank is all I ask. That's my only concern. If you look at it, is Ryan Nemeth just does the cheap tag to steal the win. I mean, it works, but it's just cheap. It's also a bit of a slap in the face on Nick Nemeth. If Ryan Nemeth wants to try and prove himself, he should have done some with the wrestling. He did nothing remotely interesting. And steals the pin. It's cheap. We've went from one sloppy finish to one terrible match now. And it's terrible because TNA, you have done a Drew McIntyre. You've done a Christian Cage. I'll say it again. TNA have done a Drew McIntyre and a Christian Cage. What am I referring to in particular? I'll tell you, they wasted a title shot. Now, like I said, Santana and Mustafa Ali should be competing for the world title. Joe Hendry is injured. And you've had him successfully defend his title by actually performing his standing ovation choke bomb finish. To prove that he's what, Super Hendry? This was ridiculous booking by TNA. They've really made a mistake here. Like, this was not right. I don't care that Joe Hendry had a great week at WrestleMania. That guy is my countryman, but he is going to really pay the price now. He has been wrestling with a torn rotator cuff, and he is still continuing to wrestle the same way. The fallaway slams, the standing ovations, the heavy standing suplexes. Really, really fucking stupid. He should have been in this match to lose his title. Ethan Page is right there just to take a pin. Not a bad idea. He's a good wrestler. There's not saying Joe Hendry will never win the title again. But you've just wasted a horrible booking decision. Kaz didn't take the pin, but it's pointless now. It's futile. The Hardys still have as well, like Joe Hendry. They've still got until the end of the year. So I'm not sure. Potentially they might jump back and forth now. Yep. WWE are going to buy out his contract. He's got a torn rotator cuff. They mentioned it on the show. And they still have him retain the title. And then you bring in, because he had a segment with him on NXT last week, you bring in Trick Williams just to knock him out. Trick Williams is not even going to win the title from Oba Femi. And now you're bringing him in to take out Joe. Ugh. This was horrible. I swear to God, this better not, like... This would be a horrible thing. This would be a stupid move. I like the trick shot, but still, I do not want to see NXT talent winning TNA Gold, and I don't want to see TNA talent winning NXT Gold. Horrible. Main event is one of the worst matches because of booking. It's up there with the women's Fatal 4-Way. Really stupid. Really, really bloody stupid. Just to confirm, by the way, on the prediction spreadsheet, with a total of 5 results, he only got Spitfire, Blanchard and Kazarian wrong. The winner of the predictions was James. I came joint second. But that was good. So fair play to you, James, for winning the predictions. Yeah, you won it with 5 matches. Moose, Elijah, Macklin and the Santana and the Nemeth brothers. You were the only person to pick Mike Santana to win. To be fair, originally I had Santana, but then I changed it before we went live, and I went with Moose Valley because I thought it'd be good to have him win the first feud. But yes, you won the predictions. So fair play to you, brother. So, 1 hour 50 minutes. We've reviewed Rebellion. Good show. Some stupid fuckery from TNA that they'll get over. They'll learn. And when I come to main roster fuckery, I use this meme TNA, please learn some lessons. I beg you. Because I don't want to have to sit like this. So, before we wrap up, we're going to go eight minutes, questions, and then we'll wrap up at 2 hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Q&A time. For this to load. Come on. Now ignore the 7. Ignore the 7. It's just because I'm still giving you a bit of time. I'm just making it clear. That's what's left of the show before we wrap up. So any questions you want to ask, fire away. PW Insider are saying that Roxanne Perez and Julia are going to Raw. So it's exactly where I said they would go, which means Vancouver is going to go to SmackDown. It's almost as if I said that when we did the show about correcting the women's division. Underutilized, should have beat Shawn Michaels for the WWE title. They made a big mistake not doing enough for Vader, but also Vader was stupid to how he reacted in Kuwait. He should have been more... Well, I get it, passion is important, but he should have been more careful. Should Trick win the TNA title? Nope. Nope. If he wants to win a title, go win the North American title or the NXT title. Mustafa Ali. If you're not going to use the Kazarian Call Your Shot Gauntlet title shot, which is now gone, then it's time to just belt up Mustafa Ali so he can have a world title feud with Santana. That's what I would do now. Because they're not going to put it back on Nick Nemeth. Even though Nick Nemeth's title reign was actually good. As much as I would like to, I don't think he will. I would like to see that, but I don't think he does. Steve Macklin at some point. At some point. But right now, I'm liking what he's doing with the international title. And I think he's the right guy to establish it for a while. Play what? Braun Breaker or Drew McIntyre? What now for Chelsea Green, by the way? Did you see her tweet? No. Although, I've just seen an absolute class tweet from Santana. He just tweeted this. Put it on screen for everybody. This is wild. That is manic. Let's have a look, see if I can find Chelsea Green. What's Chelsea tweeting? I love Chelsea Green. She deserves championships, every title. Although, to be fair, incredible asset. Let's have a look. I mean, to be fair, her recount tweet was funny. She should never have lost. I stand by it. She should never have lost. It's a wrestling game booking the most realistic version. I've never heard of it. If you can't find the tweet, there's some articles on her. Yeah, if you tell me what the tweet is, I'll absolutely find it. If you were put in charge of WWE and there is no Triple H, what are the first 3 major changes you would make? Ooh. Okay. Number 1, straight away, Raw and SmackDown are 2-hour shows. Period. 2-hour shows. And it will have an hour of wrestling, to an hour and to at least an hour of wrestling, an hour and a quarter, and then the remainder will be built up from the segments, like promo segments, interaction segments, backstage. That's what they'll do. And each talent will be obligated to appear at production meetings. They'll be obligated to appear at sessions, like to work on things where they're not worked on. And if they don't clock hours, say like 2 hours a week at the performance center working on promos, or they're working on like their in-ring style, if they're not doing that and it's logged, then that's strike 1 all the way through strike 2, strike 3. Then I'm cutting some of the titles out that don't matter. And then number 3, I would honestly, I would make it feel like it's more, not in the sense that we're just going to be wrestle heavy, but you'll see the best wrestlers work with the best entertainers more, rather than just trying to shoe them all in. So who can actually work, wrestling wise, work a better match than someone who is a better talker? I'll actually encourage them to all blend and improve themselves. And that'll then lead to my final point, which is I will not be telling them you've got to work to the hard cam or whatever. You'll be working, like, just get to enjoy yourselves and wrestle, and I won't give them stupid 5-minute matches. I'll give them proper appropriate time, but I'll also give them enough time where they can get good talking segments as well. Not where they drag on. It won't be like that. It'll actually feel like you're watching wrestling for wrestling, and if you want the talking segments, you'll get that. But you're looking the way I expect it to be done properly. And anyone who is caught clocking themselves is a strike. Where you can see them actively counting in their head, that's a strike. And I will go to a relatively younger roster as well. I'll start weeding out talents that shouldn't be there anymore, like R-Truth would be gone. Solo would be gone, even though he's not old, he's just crap. He would be gone. It would be less reliant on Samoans. It would be a roster that's working well. And Chelsea Green would be made my women's champion. See you later. Favorite TLC match ever? TLC 2. WrestleMania 17. Still the best one. And I would actually do proper partnerships with talent, with other companies. It would be proper partnerships, not I want your talent. It'll just be I just want to work with your talent. Let's just have a great show. Or great shows. And I would certainly do that. So there. Those are all I would do. But good question. I appreciate that. And this has been a heck of a review. So thank you, everybody. I've had fun. I'm going to get out here and enjoy another week of wrestling. And I'll see you on the very next show. So keep your eyes peeled. Bye-bye.